So as we all know, on December 7th, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. So this is our Pearl Harbor exhibit right here. We talk about launching the attacks, the fight for survival during the attack, and some of the really unique artifacts we have in this location ranges from everything from this big one right here, this macro artifact, which is what we call our HA-19 midget submarine. This is actually a Japanese submarine. It was used in the attack on Pearl Harbor. It never actually made it into the harbor itself. It was actually scuttled before that. It ran aground before that. However, what's unique about this piece is it's one of the very few midget submarines still intact in the world, and also it includes the backstory here is that the ensign officer that was actually part of this submarine attack, he actually became one of the first POWs of World War II, Japanese POWs of World War II. His name was Sakamaki. So he went down. He was there when the submarine was scuttled, when it beached, and then he swam to shore. He was unconscious, and when he woke up, he had several Americans surrounding him, and he was taken as the first Japanese POW of World War II. We see everything here from Pearl Harbor, of course. You know, the destruction right here, some of the bravery highlights of Dory Miller down there as well. One of the few things that made Pearl Harbor not successful for the Japanese is they actually missed several major targets. They didn't target our oil supply, which was a big mistake. They didn't target our ship rebuilding. So despite all of these ships being damaged, we were able to rebuild them over time because they didn't fix our naval yards. They didn't hit our naval yards, excuse me. And then our submarine base. They didn't target the submarines, the U.S. submarines at the time. And those would prove very, very useful during the Pacific War for patrolling purposes and also for protection of the coast. One of the most famous ships that went down during Pearl Harbor is the USS Arizona. Most people know that story here, but we do actually have this piece right here, which is an actual USS Arizona door. Right here, you can actually see the oil line of where the oil, after it was sunk, how high the oil raised up to it. This hole right here was actually, it's not from the battle or the sinking of Arizona, but what this is once it was sunk, this was cut by crew members to search for survivors in the ship. So they would go through, cut a hole in, see if there was any survivors in this particular room. And just so you can kind of get some understanding of what this is, and I don't know if you can get this with your camera, but so this is a model of the USS Arizona. So if you look, I know it's hard, if you look at these, if you can see on the bridge right there, all of those boats stacked together. If you look down to the left, that one lone boat right there, right below that one lone boat, there's a door, and you can see it on the model. That door actually represents this door. So you can see how high the oil raised right here, all the way up past the red line right there, past the deck, all the way up to that door right there. So it's pretty incredible to see the destruction that was brought upon Pearl Harbor during the time period.